What is up, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists, and welcome to P&Q, the question and answer series where you put comments to me or questions and then I respond the following video, or maybe the video after, or maybe the video after that, because it's randomized. And I read them from my iPad now, so I am literally looking down my iPad here at the questions, and this is great. I love this. I wish I had this technology years ago, but there you go. So welcome. Yes, P&Q is back. If you hadn't already worked that out, it is back. So we have questions to answer. I have a cup of coffee made from my new coffee machine, ready to drink whilst I'm answering the questions. So feel free to pop a question down in the comments box below, and I'll stick it in the randomizer. It could come up next time. It could come up anytime, really, but it will come up. It will get answered. I promise. I read each and every one, and I answer each and every one to the best of my ability. Sorry, I've got something in my eye here. My wife's gone into Exeter to meet up with her daughter and her brother because it's her brother's birthday, so they're going up there. I've taken a day off work, so I thought, sod work. It's a nice long weekend. Let's make it a longer weekend and make some videos. Why not? Anyway, so I'm going to take a sip of my coffee, which is decaf, by the way. I've got the sun streaming through the window, so I've only got the main light on here, so I haven't put any extra lights on. I think that's going to be fine. It seems fine to me. I'll look back over the video later, probably tonight. It doesn't matter. Nice coffee. Anyway, so the next question in my randomized list says, do you have a favourite Wargames setting for a game board, such as grasslands, marsh, jungle, etc.? Yeah, I suppose you mean what board do I want to play on? Do I want to play on a jungle setting or a city setting, ruined city, that kind of thing? So I think overall, my favourite setting for a tabletop wargame is jungles. That's whether I'm playing Warhammer or fantasy, whatever, it doesn't matter, but it's a jungle setting. I like the trees and all the different dangers you can pop into the jungle, Congo, whatever. I love Congo because there's a lot of jungle in it. It doesn't have to be. It could be on the African plains or wherever. But yeah, I do love a good jungle table setting, if you will. So I would say that is my favourite. Right. Okay. The next question, comment just says, mats or 3D gaming boards / tiles? Mats are brilliant. They're definitely more convenient, but I don't think you can beat the look of 3D gaming boards. Just can't. It's unbeatable. But mats are good for convenience. There's no denying that. It definitely is convenient because you can roll them up, you can pop them in a box, store them away. Whereas a 3D gaming board, even like the Realm of Battle board, yes, you can pack it away, but it still takes up a lot of room for what it is. It takes up more room and is a lot heavier than a 6x4 mat would be. Because I have both, so I know. The next question is, I think that these encounter box sets are the way forward for role-playing. What are your thoughts? Interesting, because I've just taken a photo of my Epic Encounters box sets that I'm starting to obsessively collect. Yeah, what can I say? Although they give me joy, so I think for role-playing, they're not essential, but wow, they're a great tool. And you either get like a nice big miniature in them, or several little ones, or it's kind of a mix of the two. Sometimes a slightly bigger one and a few, probably about the same amount of plastic. I don't know, but they are good because they usually give you a gaming mat, like a little paper mat, usually double-sided. Rules for the monsters and the tips on how to run the encounter itself. Compatible with 5th edition, and you can make it compatible with any other like fantasy role-playing setting that you want. Really, I'm I don't know, because I haven't really... I need to contact Steamforged Games, one, to see if I can get, them to give me a box set to unbox and review, and two, to find out if they do them for like sci-fi settings as well, or modern day settings. Why not? Mental asylum or something like that. You could use that in like Call of Cthulhu or something. That'd be really, really cool. But they are the way forward for me. I love them, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing lazy about it, especially if you're solo role playing. They're fantastic because you're reading through it for the first time, and it's like having it described to you. So yeah, they're good. They really are good. I can't rate them enough. Okay. Any tips for avoiding backache whilst painting? I suppose getting a decent, and I mean decent, chair to sit in, and having a decent space to hobby in, paint. Make sure you're not hunched over. Make sure you have a good posture, and even then, don't do it for too long. So don't spend the whole day doing it, else you will be doubled over in agony, next day, especially when you get a bit older, like myself. That's the only tips I can offer you for that. Have you any thoughts on 3D printing? I'm not sure in what context you mean by that, because I don't even remember this question coming in, so that's nearly a couple of years old probably. What are my thoughts on 3D printing? I think it's great. Yeah, you can definitely do some good stuff with it. It's not something I would do myself due to room. If I had the room, would I do it? Probably. Yeah, if I had a spare room dedicated to it, or a little box room or something, yeah, I probably would. But even then, though, it seems like a lot of faff and clean up and whatever else. I'll just pay someone else to print it and clean it up for me, and I can just work on it when I get it then. Like models like this Djinn I've got here, 3D printed. I'll just, get someone else to do it. But yeah, no, it's good. I would probably use it more for terrain if it was me. Just the way I am, I guess. I suppose a lot of people start out with terrain. And I suppose you get some free terrain printing files with them sometimes. I know a friend of mine did. You can find free files, but yeah, that's fine. Okay. Oops. Why has it done that? So I'm trying to tick on the questions I've answered. Right. What do you mean you read The Lord of the Rings when you were 9? No way, I don't believe you. That's obviously a recent one then, isn't it? Because I can remember answering that in a recent P&Q. No, I swear to you, I was 9 years old when I first read Lord of the Rings. I remember it vividly. I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own jacksie. I have always been a highly advanced reader. I could read quite fluently before I went to school. I was reading paperback books when everybody else was on the Peter and Jane books with the big red ball, and all that kind of stuff. I suppose I was perceived as some sort of childhood genius at the time, but I don't know what happened there. But no, seriously though, I read Lord of the Rings when I was 9. I just read it and I couldn't get enough of it. I'm not saying I didn't stop every so often and have to look up the odd word here and there, thinking, what does that mean? But that's how you learn, isn't it? But yeah, I did read Lord of the Rings when I was 9, I swear. Okay, what's the next one? Dude, I remember those shopping catalogues and always flicking to the toy section and looking at the big track toy. Got one eventually for Christmas when I was 10, lol. Obviously that wasn't, it's randomised. Yeah, I suppose it would be. Because that also relates to the same question I answered because that's how I came across the Lord of the Rings book when I was looking through my sister's shopping catalogue back in the day. So, you used to look at the big track toy. Do you remember those? I remember those. They were great. I never had one myself, but, If I'd have been bought one, I'd have been happy. Damn right, that's where you could like program it to do certain things, and yeah, it looked really, really cool. Yeah, got one eventually for Christmas when I was 10, lol. Well, I hope you had lots of fun with it. Do you still have it? There's a question for you, you can answer it back. Do you still have your Big Track toy? Really cool stuff. It's very nostalgic, you know? Very nostalgic. Oh, come on. My fingers are too big, that's the problem. Alright, okay. Ooh, this is a big one. I am thinking of getting into wargaming as a hobby, but I don't know where to start. The scale thing is pretty confusing, as I went into a model railway shop as I thought I would get some scenery for a wargame. But they were talking about different gauges, and then I see things online like 159th scale, 175th scale, 28mm, 50mm, and so on. The list is endless, so any advice would be very welcome to me. I can remember many years ago when I first wanted to get into the hobby, I was confused about scales as well. The fact that you could buy things which clearly looked in a different scale, they weren't suitable for other things. And certain war games, if you're into wargaming, are more suitable for certain scales, and it all depends on how much space you have. Like, for instance, I don't have a lot of space here now, not like I used to have. So I would, well, you know, I would only do skirmishes at the moment. But if I wanted to do full-on big, large-scale battles here, I'd have to look for something like, 15mm at the most. 6mm would probably be better, easier for me to fit on a table. And as for model railways, they have some weird gauges like 0 and 000 and all that. Don't even go there. Your average common or garden scale for like a fantasy adventures and stuff, like, it's 28mm. Warhammer, it's 28mm. Tabletop, like Lord of the Rings, and it's 28mm. Just think of that. You get larger scales as well, like War Machine, which is 32mm. They have their own set of miniatures for that. Like, it depends what you want to game in. So you need to set yourself, get a 28mm figure, a 15mm figure, a 6mm figure, a 6mm, which you fit loads on one base, but decide what works best for you. You think, oh yeah, actually I think I can manage 28mm. That's the most common scale, I think. And then get all your scenery that you need. When you search for it online, just put in 28mm scenery, and that'll go with your 28mm figures. So on and so on. I don't know if that's worth anything, but hopefully. But it is, I admit, it is very, very confusing. Okay, next question. Why do you like solo role-playing? I think I've answered this one before. I just like it because I only have myself to answer for. I don't offend anyone. I don't have to tie in schedules. I can go for as long as or as little as I like. Play whenever I want. Stop whenever I want. Eat when I want. Drink when I want. Just players it's just I have literally I have no one to worry about other than myself when it comes to solo roleplaying, and the fact that it's so easily to do now just makes it even better for me. I used to poo-poo it when it was first a thing, and I admit that, and I hold my hand up, and I'm the first to say I'm sorry, I was wrong. Solo roleplaying is the bomb. It is absolutely awesome. Yes, it's different, but I don't think I could do it any other way now. Just because of the way it's evolved, I suppose. It's just so easy. Right, you're a rather nostalgic person, you think? Are there any board games that have a real nostalgic connection with you? Board games that have a real nostalgic connection with you? Several. some of the ones I've mentioned before, like Monopoly and that sort of thing. Escape from Colditz. These are games I would have played against a friend of mine, on a regular basis. However, there is a game that's really nostalgic to me, and that's Haunted House. I didn't have it as a child, but my cousins did, and I always wanted it. I just loved it. And I have such good memories of going around when my parents used to go around to see my auntie and uncle, and that, and they get this game out, and it was just they were tasked with keeping me entertained again, keeping me out of the way of the grown-ups. But that game was just phenomenal to me as a child. Where you put the ball down the chimney and it would set off traps, and it's just brilliant. Alley Cats is another game of Dracula. It's just so nostalgic because of the fun times I had playing them with my friends, just brilliant. Okay. What about the old handheld or tabletop games like Space Invaders, etc.? I think that goes with the last question, actually. Don't know why it wasn't separate. Well, I suppose I might have put, it's got numbers on it, so I might have kept it in. Right, okay. Yeah, okay. The old tabletop handheld electronic games, I've got loads of them as well, like the old Game & Watch. Wow. They were nostalgic too. And Space Invaders, I had Space Invaders, just my first Space Invader handheld game. Oh, God. It was so good. So good. And Invader 1000 and all that, and Galaxians, and oh man, Pac-Man, Munchman, you name it. But those Nintendo Game & Watches, they hold a special place in my heart too, because every kid had one at school, more or less. And obviously every kid didn't have one, but a lot of kids had them at school, and we all had different ones as well, so we'd swap them, I don't mean to keep, I mean just to play on for break or dinner time or whatever, and then give them back. Yes. I remember Donkey Kong 2 was a firm favourite. I found it so hard, but I loved it. And Mario Brothers, where they're in the cake factory, oh man, it's just so good. I didn't actually get into Donkey Kong 1 until I left school, funnily enough. But yeah. My goodness. Okay. Do you have any hobbies outside of role-playing and wargaming? Do I have any hobbies? Well, making videos on YouTube, that's another hobby, isn't it? At the moment, I don't really have time for much else. But if I did, it would be photography, probably. I would like to capture pictures. And I don't care. They don't have to be on, film or anything like that. I just like capturing cool moments in time, like sunrises, sunsets, awesome pictures of the ocean, nature, my pets. I just love it. Flowers, because there's some beautiful plants in nature, trees. Oh, the list goes on. It's endless. Classic cars. That would be my another hobby if I had the time. But at the moment, I haven't really got the time to do the one hobby, so I would work and all. Work always gets in the way. Have you found that? Do you prefer snooker or pool, or neither? Snooker. I prefer snooker. I like pool, don't get me wrong. I prefer it with the spots and stripes, not the yellow and red. But yeah, pool's okay. I've worked in a lot of workplaces where they got a red and yellow pool set table in the break room or whatever. But snooker is the best game for me. I prefer snooker. I used to have a mini snooker table when I was a kid. Drink some more of this coffee. Coffee's going down quite well, actually. Okay, how many questions have I answered thus far? 1, 2, 3. I've answered 12 questions. So this will be my 13th question. I'm going to do that. I'll call it Lucky 13, and if I remember. The question is, can you play chess? Yes, I can play chess. Again, I learnt to play chess very young, when I was first at school. And the reason is, I used to watch my brothers playing it. They had this travel chess set. They used to play each other. Young me used to be fascinated at the different types of pieces that each player controlled, like their own little army. And each piece moved differently. So, I sat down with my dad one day and I asked him how each piece moved, and he explained it all to me, and then we started playing games. And I wasn't very good, but, I could play quite young, like 5 or 6 years old. So I'd play a game of chess, but I probably would never win a game of chess. But I've gotten better over the years, I like to think. My strategic mind. It's probably something I will do when I retire as well, just to try and keep my mind occupied. I'll play my computer at chess, make sure I try and beat it at least once a day. And up the levels, till it just kicks my ass every time. So that's 13 questions on this P&Q. And I've really enjoyed doing it. Just like I say, I'm sat here, the sun is streaming through the blinds. It's a glorious day out there. The sun is shining. It's just a great day. It's a great, great day. Thank you for joining me. Do remember, all brushes lead to all. I will see you guys on another video. Please don't forget, if you've got some questions or comments you want to put to me, just pop them down below in the comments section, and we'll get to them. Thanks ever so much, and I'll see you on another video. Bye bye.